Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Digital to Dice podcast. I'm Dave.
I'm Ron.
And Ron, we were trying to figure out a topic for the show today, and because I just been tied up, and I said, life's just been getting in the way, and that's what we're going to talk about. When life gets in the way.
When life gets in the way, it's the opposite of the old Joe Walsh song. Remember that? Life used to be so hard.
Oh yeah.
After he left the Eagles.
Yep. So we're going to talk about that today. Just life getting in the way of us enjoying what we like to do in our spare time. So we're going to talk about that today. Let me see here. Ways to get a hold of us. digitaltodice.com is the website. 978-751-DICE is the text line. Digitaltodice at yahoo.com is the best way to get a hold of us by email. Facebook.com/group/digitaltodice if you want to join the conversation over on Facebook. And, if you want to become a Patreon member and support the show for $2 a month or $5 a month if you'd like to help us pay the bills, patreon.com/digitaltodice. And we have some new Patreons this week, and we want to say thank you to all of them, and we'll give you a shout out later on. So, thanks for helping keeping the show going. Where do you want to begin? It's been a while. I forget how to do a damn show. I just been so damn busy. The junior hockey started, and then they had some kind of a festival or something where teams come in from all over the place, and they needed broadcasters, and I was going day and night from one rink to another, and on top of my normal job and on top of my normal team that I do, it's just been a whirlwind over here. And as you can hear, my voice is kind of dying because I got my new job doing narration for YouTube.
There you go.
I'm just like being pulled apart in all these different directions. In fact, I think it was Monday of this week. Today's Friday. Monday of this week was my first day that I didn't have to be at a rink until the night, which was like 9 o'clock at night.
So your normal night, right.
So it was a normal one rink day for me. And I was so tired from the weekend and the last 8 days that I get up, I had breakfast, and I went back to bed for the rest of the day. I just was dead. I really was. So that was that. In fact, the 2 days that I've had off in the last 2 weeks, I've had 2 days off in the last 2 weeks. Both were spent driving the dog to New Hampshire, the other dog to New Hampshire for a consult and then surgery. Because the other dog's, I guess his knee was really bad. And the guy's like, it's a good thing he did the surgery because he wasn't going to last much longer. His knee was just shredded. Yeah. So, but it's been a week now, so he's doing better today. Yeah, but so my 2 days off were spent driving in the rain up to New Hampshire to the vet to have him, looked at and whatever. So I haven't played much of anything. I played a little bit. I actually, we'll do that when we get into what we're playing. But it's just been a whirlwind over here. It's been very frustrating, actually, how busy I've been.
Yeah, the weather's actually turned cold until the last couple of days. It was 75 again. So my wife got a sinus infection. So she's missed pretty much 2 weeks worth of work. And so they finally put her on an antibiotic yesterday. And so she has to eat that with some yogurt because antibiotics kill everything in there and kills your digestive bacteria. And
I was always told to take Chinese food with my antibiotic.
Sure.
I mean, that's the rumor I heard on.
Is that the rumor?
On Facebook, I heard that, so it must be true.
Abraham Lincoln told me once that everything on the internet must be true. So
I wasn't sure because there's some people that say when you're taking antibiotics, don't take a probiotic because it counteracts it, and other people say no, do take a probiotic with an antibiotic, and I don't know which one to take. So
I think usually it's the because when I was much younger, I had to take an antibiotic for an infection.
Okay.
And it wasn't visiting you. And I ended up having to eat a whole bunch of yogurt because of that, because it just kills everything. It just throws your digestive system way out of whack.
Yeah.
So the rice and stuff probably wouldn't be there. So we did the grocery shopping trip today, and the proud parents of 6 containers of yogurt. I feel like we have a 5-year-old in the house now.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. So
yogurt's not bad. I don't mind yogurt.
No, and, it's pretty cheap and stuff that she likes. So but hopefully that will be. But it's one of the things about the season change is that there's a lot of people up here that just got sick almost immediately with it, and she's one of them. So
no, the switch goes off up here again. It's winter in the morning, spring in the late morning, and then it's summer in the afternoon, and then it's fall at night, and that's how our season's going in October and September. So anyway, well, should we get to what we're playing?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll go first because I'll be real quick, actually.
Okay.
The only thing I've really played is, between, just going from rink to rink and driving the dog to the vet. He couldn't really move after the surgery, so they wanted him to stay still. So he usually stays at my feet, this dog here, not the Mimi dog, the other dog. And so I didn't want to get downstairs and play a game because I know he'd follow me, and he's not supposed to go up and downstairs. So I set up in Studio C. I says, I'm going to play my game up in Studio C, and that way he'll settle down at my feet. So he did. So in Studio C, I was playing some Stone Cold Hockey. I pulled out my 1974 cards, and I did a Dave playoffs, as you call it. I did 1 to 12, and 1 through 4 got the bye, and they weren't the division leaders. It was 1 through 4 got the bye, and then the other 8 played a round of 3. And I eliminated 4, so now I'm back down to 8 with the bye teams. So that's what I did. I played the first round. I didn't keep any stats. The only thing I did do is, who was it? Was it somebody on the Stone Cold Facebook page put a chart on how to get shots on goal? Kind of a homebrew way of getting
Brian
shots.
Martin, wasn't it?
What was it? Him? I'm just drawing.
I'm
drawing a blank right now, and I didn't want to say the wrong name. I think,
I will.
Okay, I think it wasn't. Like I said, it's just been so crazy over here. I just don't want to say the wrong name, but it might have been him. It was one of the usual suspects, and so he figured out on how many goals you scored in a period. You rolled dice, and you could get shots on goal. And there's a couple other games that do kind of the same thing. It's just kind of a made up way of doing shots on goal. And so I did that, and that was kind of fun. It just added to the storyline, seeing how many shots on goal they got. But I didn't keep goals or assists or anything like that. But I got through the first round of the 74 playoffs. Basically, it was seeds 5 through 12 that played.
5 through 12, yeah.
Yep. The only upset was Chicago over Boston. Everybody else.
Of course it was.
Yeah, of course it was, yeah. Game 1 was overtime, and then I think they won in game 2. I think there was only one series that went 3 games, I think. But it was fun. That game's really fun, and it plays really quick when you're not keeping stats. The game plays really quick. So I did that in Studio C while the dog was at my feet resting. But now he can go up and downstairs. I moved everything down to Studio A so I can finish the project over in Studio A. In fact, I did a little video on my YouTube channel just to kind of say hi to everybody because I haven't been on YouTube in a few weeks because of all this. And Studio A is such a mess. I feel so bad. It's like, oh, man, look at this mess over here in Studio A.
I see some jerk on YouTube posted, who are you again?
Yeah, it's pretty much. I just, and that'll lead us into our topic when we get to that. I look at everybody playing. It's like I'm not playing anything. I'm not streaming anything, and I'm missing out on it. But it just kind of happened. But I did play a little bit of that, and I did get through the preliminary round. So that's kind of all I played right now.
Okay. And traffic and weather on the 8's brought to you by. So let's see. My 85 replay project in baseball is just about done. And in fact, it could be done as early as Sunday at 1 o'clock.
Oh, boy.
Because after an incredible run of LCS games where the Cardinals and the Dodgers played, this would have been the first year of the best of 7 league championship series, an epic series, an epic 7-game, not knowing until the 8th inning of Game 7 who was going to pull this out. The Cardinals over the Dodgers. In fact, the Dodgers had the tying runs on base in the 9th inning in Game 7. And, of course, the Toronto Blue Jays were up 3-0 in their best of 7 against the Angels. And then the Angels came back to force Game 7, and Dave Steve goes out and throws a 4-hitter to put the Blue Jays into the World Series. Just epic stuff. The first 3 games of the World Series have all been involved. St. Louis has won them all.
Oh,
and
wow.
They won the first 2 in Toronto in 10 innings. It was 11 innings was Game 1. The second game was 5-2, and the Blue Jays had a 3-0 lead in Game 3 and blew it. And so the Cardinals, we now dubbed him the House of Tudor, John Tudor, who won 28 games in my replay, Cy Young Award winner. I made him the NL MVP. He was the NLCS MVP, and if he wins on Sunday afternoon at noon Eastern on my Twitch channel, probably get that MVP as well. Just absolutely outstanding stuff. And so I was kind of hoping that this would be a best of 7. You know, the weird thing is you get series that are so lopsided, but one team will take a game. Maybe they can sneak another one, but you know that it's inevitable. So you'll hear people say it's been in a best of 7, it was a 5-game sweep or really a 6-game sweep, that someone just kind of got lucky. All 3 of these games have been held in a balance. I mean, if the Cardinals do sweep this World Series, it won't feel like a sweep.
Yeah.
The Blue Jays didn't curl up in a ball and die. The Cardinals just outplayed them. So by doing that, I bought last week the new version of Strat PC Hockey, and I played a couple games. So I'm now 60 games through the 75-76 Islander season. And they curb stopped the Washington Capitals 7-0 on the game that I played last night. I was telling you about. Just fun. There's not really a lot of changes within the game, but Strat is such a stable game. You know, it's kind of like the half pregnant thing. You either like the game or you don't.
Right.
I do like the new stats that it keeps. So on the page, it will tell you the save percentage of the goalies, along with the goalie rating chances and a couple other things. But the one thing I noticed now is there now are individual player statistic pages, even for replays that you're currently running. And so
nice.
It'll break it down by home and away, by month, and then against the other teams in the league, and give you intimidation. The stuff that the board game stuff it keeps track of is all there as well.
Nice.
On that report. I wanted the cards, and since I really don't play the card version of Card and Dice, that I just figured that would be pretty much the same price as paying for the card set. And so if I want to do something with the 21-22 season, as the new season starts today, as a matter of fact, in Europe.
Okay.
I think the Sharks and someone else are over there playing in about 10 minutes to start the season. That I can. So I have the last 4 card sets for on the PC.
I don't know if I mentioned this on the last show or not, but I got that as well, and I got the specialty set, the Summit Series teams, and then a couple other specialty teams, and I dropped the 72 Russian team into the 72-73 NHL season, and I set up a manual season where they played every team once. And I don't know if I mentioned that on the show or not. And I don't
think you mentioned it on the show.
I simmed it. So I did it twice. So I just put them in, play everybody once on a Wednesday and a Saturday, simmed it all out. And I think they went like 11-3-2 or something.
We didn't talk about this because it was Pittsburgh was the one that was.
Yeah, Montreal beat them twice, and Pittsburgh beat them twice. Of all teams that beat them, Pittsburgh was a middle of the pack team, and then there was one team they lost to each time that was like a Buffalo or Detroit or something like that. But it was pretty wild how they stomped through the bottom teams, had a little bit of trouble in the middle, and then got wiped out by Montreal at the top. But that was fun, and I do plan on playing that once I open my cards and dice that come in the mail. I still haven't opened that. It's been sitting here for 2 or 3 weeks now. I know. That's how busy I've been. I haven't even opened my strat cards.
You have been. I will say this. I think there's one thing, and maybe because my sample size is too small, because it's only been 2 games, I wonder now if because the game will automatically not dress skaters. It's always been the case. And I don't know how tight of a usage thing I have. For me, that's really just not that big of a deal, since I really only, when I play any of the strat games, I play, except for the football, I play both teams. I let the computer run for football. My opponent, but for hockey I play both teams, so I'm really not concerned too much about that. I'm really more concerned about the one team that I'm trying to play. But in the couple times that the 2 games I've played with a new version, it actually has not dressed a player. And maybe you get that maybe once every 4 or 5 games with there. And so, because you can get over usage, but again, that's not, for me, not something that's a huge concern. Of course, you can manually go through and change all that if you want, if that is important to you. But it's been nice. I had to, Jude Duran missed the game against the Caps like it mattered. And so I had to juggle my lines. So Andre St. Laurent, who's my third line center, moved up to second, and Lauren Henning got some time with Bobby Nystrom and Gary Howitt, and no one got into a fight. And Ralph Stewart is a designated bench forward, and so he got some fourth line playing time for me. So maybe that's something that changed in. So it's looking at percentage usage. I'm sure there's something checked, but yeah, the first 2 games I've actually had to do that, and I got to be careful because what the game will do is we'll put the scrub player in place of the player that's not dressed. And so I really don't pay that much attention to my opponent, figuring that they're just going to go over there. And every once in a while I'll see on a first line, why is this 1-and-1 player out there with 4s and 4s and 4s and 3s? Like, he's hurt, So
I heard it fixed some of that. I'm just hoping it fixed the computer manager, because there was sometimes especially when I first started playing the game,
because you played a lot against the AI,
that I would go to start a game and it says can't play. Problem with the computer manager, and I guess there was a guy selected that wasn't dressed, or dressed that wasn't selected, and I just kept hitting refresh, like, just fix it. I don't want to have to go in and do it myself. The computer should put together a roster that works. And it was a handful of times that I was just like, man, I can't even start the game. And it was so frustrating. It's like that I had to go back in. Oh, okay, this left wing it's open because he's not dressed or not checked. It's like, why?
One of the things they did fix is that if you have no one to fill that position, that they will, I'm sure with a penalty, just have a player that can fill it.
Yeah, I'm just kind of hoping that they fix that little glitch there that it wouldn't start the game because the computer manager was wrong and you had to go manually fix it. And it was such a pain in the neck. And to a point, I think there was a couple times I said, the heck with it. I don't need to play this game that bad. And I walked away.
That can get frustrating. I know in the basketball game, again, I don't coach anyone else. I coach the Celtics and whoever the Celtics are playing. Oh, by the way, they steamroll your Atlanta Hawks, so I'm now 31-4.
Good.
So if I'll take a look at who is dressed and who isn't dressed in the basketball game, and if there's someone that is their usage is down in the 60s and they got the I as opposed to the E, I'm going to dress them. I want them to get close to their minutes. And but yes, if you unsub them, the computer will give you a hard time, and all I do is, just because I manually run the benches for both teams, just let the computer just give itself a game plan I'm not going to follow.
Right. Yeah.
And let the computer I don't know if that's in the hockey game or not. Again, to me, I just for my sake, and I know that other people do it a lot differently, I treat these games as if I had the cards and dice in front of me,
right,
playing them out. The computer does the bookkeeping, computer does the dice rolling. I don't know if you can roll the dice in a basketball game or not.
I don't think so.
You can in the football game.
Yeah.
And obviously the baseball game you can do a lot. But, that would be the one thing that I wish I would change. But as far as the rest of it's concerned, it's really just more of a computers doing the bookkeeping and I'm playing. What else have I played besides Gems that I can talk about? I know that Carrie Batts has done a couple good updates to Pro Strategy Football, getting some of the TV studio stuff there. I just find it a blast every time I go to play. It's Al. Yeah, Al doing the highlights and wide right. Because here you could hear the trail of tears there for Al. So I was playing the Bengals the other day against Seattle, 81 season, and Mike from the truck, an avowed Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Just put that out there, avowed Pittsburgh Steelers fan. And every time the Bengals would have an offensive penalty, offense. It's like, yep, you like that one just a little too much, Mike, don't you?
Yeah.
So some fixes from that. So that's what I've been playing.
Okay. All right. So should we get into the main event?
Yes.
All righty. So.
Yes.
When life gets in the way,
Has this been a little bit hectic for you?
It has been, and I expect it from time to time. And I look at the calendar to say, if I could just get through to this day, I'll be okay. And I know I'm not going to play anything. I know I'm not going to stream anything. I bounce in and out of other people's streams to say hi. Sometimes I'm at the rink in between periods and I'm saying hi. And but I got to tell you that, I enjoy doing the game so much and doing the show so much that when I don't get to do it, it gets really frustrating. And I just start to follow other people's products on Facebook and Delphi and wherever. And it's like, man, I want to play so bad. I want to play something so bad. And then you come home and you're just so tired that I don't even fire up a PC game. I think I come home one night and I get on the computer and I fired up a game. I don't even know what one it was. And I got through just like a couple minutes. I was like, man, I'm just don't have the attention span for this. I'm just done, And it's just so frustrating because life does get in the way. Things happen. In fact, it was this Wednesday. And I think I told you on when we talked on Tuesday, I says, I'm going to get through Tuesday night, and Wednesday I have off. I have after a little bit of work in the morning.
Yeah, we had talked about doing the show Wednesday.
Yeah, we were going to do the show Wednesday, and I says, Wednesday I'm going to get up and finish my work and try to get it all done by noon, and then we can either record the show. If we don't record the show, then I'm going to go back to my my Stone Cold Hockey 74 playoffs. I'm going to set that up. I'm going to play another round of that. Right, that was my day, and the dog that had the knee surgery just didn't sleep, and he get up whining. And so I'm telling the wife in the morning, like, he's whining right now. I says, I hope he didn't mess up his surgery somehow. So bring him in. So my Wednesday, instead of recording Digital to Dice and playing games, was spent driving in the rain to New Hampshire to get him checked out. And it's just like, life just gets in the way, And it's just like, holy cow. But it's like that was a whole day I was supposed to play. And then I get back, and I was just so tired because I hadn't slept, and he hadn't slept. In fact, when we were there, the vet says, I'm going to give him something here. And so that'll get him through the night to sleep, and then hopefully tomorrow. I'm like, can you give me one too? It's like
how Michael Jackson got into trouble. You know that, right?
It's like, man, I just want to sleep too. He's been restless. He keeps me up, and I'm worried about him. And now I'm tired, and it's like, can you give me something to sleep too? So that I was supposed to play all day Wednesday, and I never did, and that just led to me just being more tired and more fatigued in the whole bit. And then even yesterday, I was supposed to do it yesterday, and then things happened, and I had to go and do some things around the house. I mean, I look up, and next thing you know, it's like bedtime. And it's like, where did the day go? The wife's walking in the door, we have dinner, and next thing you know, it's like, man, I didn't get to play anything again today. Just things just happen, and like I say, I follow other people's stuff now because that's all you can do. You're laying in bed, you don't really feel like getting up and playing anything. And so I spin around, I look at people doing their things, and it's just like, man, I just want to go play my own game. I'm reading everybody's stats and what they're playing, and whatever, whether it's the result of the game or I'm just playing this game here, or I'm going to play this game here, and I'm like, man, I just want to play my own game. And I can't, like, I'm looking, Steve Towers advertising he's going to play Stone Cold Hockey on his channel, and I'm really excited to see that. I think it might even be tonight, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. I want to see Steve.
With the fictional team element.
Yeah. I think he made his own too, so I want to see how that works out. But I'm sitting there in bed going, man, I should be playing this. I should be playing, my Stone Cold Hockey here, and I'm not. And then I got the Pro Strategy Football I wanted to play. I only did week 1 so far, and I haven't got back to that. And then it's like I need to finish up the Spiders, and I'm like, man, I just don't have the energy to get to that right now. And I'm looking at the calendar thinking, when's the next time I'm going to get to play? And I thought it was going to be today, but it's probably not looking like today. So maybe Saturday night, if everything settles down, I might play some Saturday night hockey or Saturday night football on the channel. But holy cow, it's just, and it's luckily it's nothing horrible. That's the thing. It's not like I've been hospitalized.
No, and we know that there are people that are the friends of the community that have had some serious issues recently.
Yeah,
and so it's lucky that it's just kind of rat race type busy and not anything catastrophic.
Right. But I mean, I know that happens. And sometimes people say, I get my kids, and one kid's going to soccer, one kid's going to baseball, one kid's going to hockey, and they just they just can't keep up. And it's
I
like,
think that's one of the reasons why people don't necessarily play this stuff in their 20s, 30s, and 40s, is just for that reason. If they're maybe because A, they're not necessarily aware that these games exist, but B, yeah, if Susie needs to go to band practice and Bobby has soccer practice, and you're running around, and so dinner is pick up at Subway and whatever, and by the time that you're all done and then the kids have gotten the homework done, it's 7:30, 8 o'clock, and the last thing you want to do is sit there and go, geez, I miss playing, Barry Bonds' 2002 season or whatever. I mean, it's
Right.
just it's just not there, and you want to spend more than you and I are blessed that we do get to spend time with our spouses, but you look at a younger couple and the average time that a pair of spouses spend together in a given day is 15 minutes.
oh, I can see that. Yeah, I can see it. Just
I can absolutely see that, and so you're going to give up those 15 minutes so you can go through and get your fan. I know there's a lot of people who do fantasy. My sisters are football widows this time of year, just for just for that reason. But yes, I mean, so yeah, no, I mean, so just imagine that just being your average Tuesday. You gotta be here, there, and then you gotta go fight in a grocery store for an hour, or something broke off. So Amazon doesn't do 2-hour delivery. You gotta go pick it up. Just fighting traffic, and I get it. And so maybe as far as that's concerned, people who can get some of these games onto a mobile app that you can just, when you're stuck in traffic, I'm not moving for 15 minutes.
Yeah. Or just stuck at the office and play at the office or something like that. Yeah.
I think I can tell the story because the statute of limitations is gone for this. I worked at a rather lax office. I won't say where because none of them listened anyway. And so over the course of 2 or 3 months back in the mid-90s, I played an entire Boston Celtics season at work.
Oh, okay.
Just 15, 20 minutes at a time, because it was on a Mac, and so you could have 2 or 3 things there. And so if I needed a break, I would just call up the game. Wasn't supposed to have it installed on a work computer, but no one seemed to care. And so between that and Yahtzee, I just kind of was like, I've had enough of work for the moment, and I've never been a smoker, and so we're taking this, and I knew when to hide the stuff. But yeah, don't ask me which season it was, and it certainly wasn't. But yeah, an entire Celtics season.
Speaking of the smoking thing, that's a big deal. Is the non-smokers would at least a little while ago anyway. There was a big issue between the people like, I'm going to go for a smoke. So all the smokers go out and smoke, and everyone that didn't smoke had to stay inside and work.
Yeah.
And so they're like, whoa. I'm going to go outside and have a non-smoke break. And so next thing you know, all these, like everyone's outside and half a smoke and half a not. And the people like, what's going on? And it's like, hey, if they can stop every so often for an extra break for a cigarette, I can too.
When I worked in an office, I argued that. It was argued that because there was
it's like, why do I get punished because I'm not smoking? Or why do they get special treatment if they're smoking?
15 minutes to do at some point in my day to go out and get some fresh air, which is what I did.
Yep. So, I mean, the fair is fair. I mean, it's something you don't really think about until it happens, And the same thing with the kids. I mean, we don't have kids, so every Christmas, people with kids are like, I need Christmas off because my kid is off. And my poor wife would, be there 10 years, and she's like, I've never had days around Christmas off because I don't have kids. At some point, I think I've earned my way here. Why do you get it off every single Thanksgiving and Christmas because you have kids and I get punished for not having kids? It's like, I think I've done my time every 5 or 6 years. Give me the time off. Okay, I think that's about fair. I sat back, I let you have your thing, blah blah blah, and then they milk it. Then the kid's like 19. They're like, oh, I need Christmas off for the kids. They're 19. They're not 10. You don't need to take the week off. Now you're just milking the system here,
Right.
So, anyway, a little tangent there about smoking and kids. Cause
there you
go. But anyway.
So yeah. So that's just kind of the thing. And so you get to, the kids are out of the house, or in our case, we didn't have any. And so, yeah, there are times that, as you said, that, things get in the way. You get sick. I had COVID for a couple of weeks this past year.
Yeah, talk about that for a minute, because you had the COVID and you fought that. You got through it, like a trooper in the whole bit. But
right.
There was times that I know you didn't want to play anything.
No, the thing is, I certainly didn't stream over that point. I played some hockey over that, but again, it's automatically saves after each turn of the card. So if you only had the energy to play for 10 or 15 minutes, and you played for the 10 or 15 minutes, then you would toss and turn while you're trying to take a nap. So that kind of worked, but no, especially with the playoffs, like now for me too in baseball, you just get so tired from trying to produce. Because those things do turn into productions, or you're sick, that you just don't really no, I don't want to do it, or I just want to be entertained. Someone else entertain me for a while. You go through and go, okay, because when you have Fuzzy's MGD, like we all do here, you just kind of get hung up with, well, what do I want to play? And so it's not just, I only have these 2 or 3. My option is A or B. Well, you or I can have options from A to double Z.
Yeah.
And so by the time that you kind of get the bug to, I could do this. It requires a little more setup than I want to do, and I'm tired. Or, the wife is not feeling very well, so I probably should spend some time with her. Or,
yeah, you do have to plan ahead for these things sometimes, because it's like, okay, I need to set aside a block of time. If this game's going to take me a half hour, I really need an hour, because I need to pull it out, maybe refresh myself on the rules, get it all set up, figure out what I'm going to play, why I'm going to play it, and set up my things here. And some games you can pull out and play, but there's a lot of games that do require some setup and in the whole bit. So, yeah, that's the other thing. But like I say, remember you were down and out playing doing the COVID, not playing much. So there's the sickness factor that comes into when life gets in the way. The sickness
factor is there. You only have a finite amount of energy you want to spend.
Yep.
And the funny thing with COVID is that you might have one symptom at noon, and by 20 after 12, it's a completely new symptom, and you're just kind of going. So concentration in that. You just want to go with something that was simpler and doesn't involve a lot of thought. And then, you're just like, But, I realized, like I said, I pulled out Strat Hockey. I think I played, over those 2 weeks, I think I played about 3 games. Knew I wasn't going to be able to sit down and do an hour's worth of that at once. It's, 5 action cards here, 5 action cards there. It's on the computer, so you don't have to worry about setting up and leaving and having a cat knock over stuff. But, you go through, it takes your mind off it, and then for that length of time. So you need gives you a few minutes of escape of, okay, what's coming next with COVID at this hour?
Yeah.
Okay, no, I did it. And because there are times that we go through, even in the best of times, that you get through something and you just kind of rush right through and you're not paying as much attention as you should. Yeah. So you're looking for that mix of, when you're sick, something that's going to keep your mind off of things, but not tax the brain.
Yeah.
And so it's, again, it's, the whole Stone Cold Hockey project that you were doing, the Dave playoffs, weren't keeping stats. You just wanted to keep busy and do something.
Yeah, it's almost like comfort food. Yeah, because like I said, I got the sick dog, and I'm in a busy stretch. I'm tired, but it's like, I need to play something here, so I want to play something somewhat simple, and that's a simple game to play when you're not keeping stats. And I was able to play and keep an eye on him and just have some fun with that, and I got my results from the first week. So so sometimes these games are like comfort food. They really are, and especially like over here in Studio A downstairs, when I finally cleaned up that area, I took a good solid week and cleaned up an area so I could put up a table and I can leave it up and leave everything out. And that's a huge deal, because I was using that for Studio C, and then the wife's like, well, can I get my table back? I'd like to, have people over for dinner or something like that. So I gave her table back upstairs. And so now I can leave the stuff out. And so when I'm playing like my Hockey Bones, I can play a period, just leave it there. It's beautiful.
Right.
Whatever I'm playing, if I'm playing Shootout, if I'm playing Stone Cold Hockey, or if I'm playing, any other cards and dice game, I can just leave it out, and I don't have to put it away. And that saves huge amount of setup time. So that way I don't have to complete a whole game. I can say, let me go knock out a period. Let me knock out a quarter.
And I think that's a good way to do it. And then I think it's one of the reasons why some of the the quicker play games can do so well. Like, okay, I can knock out, like Stone Cold Hockey, you can knock out a game on the table in about 15 minutes, right?
Yeah.
You know, and so if you know that, yeah, I got 15, 20 minutes to relax while we wait for dinner to arrive, or spouse is taking care of, you know, kid or something. Okay, I got 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And, you know, and before I need to jump in the shower and go do the next sort of thing. And so that's where games like that really shine, is you can get the experience, you can get the escape, you can get your itch scratched, and it really not bother anybody.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and there's other times that you do have the time, and you're like, okay, I'm going to play a game of, you know, a full game of Apple hockey or Apple football or second season football or strat hockey, whatever, and I'm going to go the full hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, and really enjoy it. I got the house to myself for a while, so that's kind of good. So the other thing that can happen when life gets in the way is when you have too much time on your hands, but it's not a good time. And I look back to the COVID time when I was out of work. Okay, so I'm out of work and I got all kinds of time to play. And I did for the first part of that. I ordered a lot of games. I played a lot of games. I was doing videos every day. And then it came to a point where I just was completely depressed at the situation that, you know, because I'm out of work, I'm doing nothing. The world was shut down at that point. I don't want to get into all the whatever with that, but I mean that's the reality. That's what it was, and you know, I look at that as if somebody lost a job. Like if you lost your job, you got all kinds of time to play now, but you're not in the mindset.
And it becomes a reminder that you have too much time.
Yeah, when you stop playing games all the time, it's like, man, I really need to go and get a job or find a job or you know, I can't be doing this. I mean, I can do it for a day or two, maybe a week, but when you have all that time, whether it's a job loss or maybe you're laid up, you know, maybe you just had surgery or something, or maybe you're sick.
You want to leave the house, yeah.
Yeah, it's just you have the time to game, but your mindset is not there. And that's another thing when life gets in the way, and I've joked about that. Man, I have all this time to play, and I just don't want to play anything right now. My head is not in it.
It's not an escape at that point.
No.
You know, it's kind of like you've been 12 years old and you've pulled your sister's pigtails or broke something and you're grounded.
Yeah, sometimes something happens, whether you get a fight with a spouse or the girlfriend, or you just have a bad day at work, and sometimes your mind just gets blown, and you're sitting in and you're just like, you know something, I just don't feel like doing this tonight. I'm not in the mood for it. As much as it would probably make me happy, I just so your mind is just fried over something, and you're just
I think that is that, you know, that the later you get into something, that whatever is bothering you in real life is about to come hit you again. And you're too tired to get out that second game or whatever. And so you get the third period or a second half of something that's going really, really well. And you see, it's like, oh, there's 4 minutes to go or whatever. And then I got to start thinking about, I got to go up and apologize, or I hope that, you know, whatever it is, or
sometimes somebody's in the hospital. I think the one time my wife was overnight at the hospital, or we had a relative in the hospital, and you just kind of hanging on edge just in case you get a phone call. So you really don't want to get into anything because your mind is with them.
Sarah had to do an emergency ER trip a while ago. And so I have all this time where I really can't do much of anything. And, you know, obviously, you know, do something to keep busy so you're not thinking about it. And I couldn't do anything just because I was too worried about what was going on with her.
Yeah. So, there's sometimes you just get distracted from something. And that, again, life gets in the way. That's what we keep talking about here, is things that happen.
Because, you know, you answer the phone, well, how's she doing? I don't know. I haven't heard from her, but...
well, that's the other thing. Yeah, all the people
78 Raiders have 3 touchdowns in the second half. It's probably not a good conversation starter.
Oh, that's the other thing, too, is all the people, hey, how's she doing? I haven't heard from her. What's going on? You know, all the people, what's going on? Tell me what's happening.
Right, exactly.
So you're busy, you know, answering all the people that are concerned and the whole bit.
Right.
And so that's another thing. It's like, well, you really can't can't talk about that as much, you know.
I don't know. It's 3rd and 4. Should I go for the screen pass or running up the gut? What?
I left her in the emergency room. She was bleeding pretty bad, but man, I got home and I'm almost done with this football game.
That's right.
You know?
I told her that I told her to stitch herself. No, actually, that's what happened to my wife was that she had a varicose vein pop.
Oh man.
You remember that, right?
Yeah.
You know, Valen. So they, they didn't give her any options. You know, she's got 3 beefy firemen. They take her out of here.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
So it's like, I mean, that's again, you're looking for the escape. You're looking for the thrill of it, just to get your, again, just to take your mind off of things. But you're busy trying to deal with whatever the issue is, because what might be trivial to other people isn't trivial to you at the time.
Right.
You know, if the kid needs braces and you got to spend, they're spending $2,000 on the braces. Look, in 20 years, no one's going to care. But at that particular moment, the kid, that's what you're worried about. And so, no, honey, we'll take you you get your retainer. And as soon as I make this pitching change, it's probably not going to go over real well.
Yeah. And that kind of goes into the whole, I think we did talk about the topic of finding time to play. I think that was the topic we did at one point too, or something like that, or, it ties into like
time. It's kind of hard not to find topics we haven't addressed at some point.
But I think we talked about that. We all talked about gaming space. Like not everybody has the space to play, and they got to set up and break down because it's again, maybe it's your dining room table that you can only set up and break down. You can't leave anything out. So we talked a little bit about that. So this all kind of ties in. Like when life gets in the way, it's like sometimes you don't have the space to play because maybe it's the holidays, and I know my wife likes to set up everything. She's already set up for Christmas, and it's not even Halloween yet. So, I mean, she's all set. That's great. I can't use the table now because we have Christmas decorations on it, and it's October 7th. But you pre-planned this in advance, So things like that, you know what I mean?
It's all there. It's all there.
Yeah. So I mean, we're all set for Christmas, but I can't use the table upstairs until January 2nd.
And that's the nice thing about using the computer for everything is it's just all there.
Yeah.
I can't imagine my wife would be all that thrilled with you doing what.
Yeah. But I mean, so this whole life gets in the way. It ties into like your gaming space, what's going on in the family, how busy you are. I mean, I know my work ebbs and flows like some other people's work. And right now I'm in the flow part of it, I guess. And I'm just out straight. And then, you get medical things, whether it's kids or family or pets, like that. Like we've
absolutely.
And, it's just everything kind of hits you. And again, I am frustrated because I really enjoy this stuff. When I play this stuff, I'm in my glory. I'm back in 1980 or whenever it is, and in my head, I'm enjoying myself. And
it's an escape.
It's an escape. I was just about to say I'm escaping my day-to-day routine, and I'm going back and I'm enjoying something. And just playing the '74 playoffs the other day, I was like, man, this is kind of fun seeing who's winning, and the goalies swapping goalies. Maybe a goalie lost the game. I put in a different goalie to see if he can win the series for him, and it was just kind of fun. It was just a nice little escape going back in time and playing that out. And I'm interested to see how it all shakes out when I continue my series there. And when you can't get to that's your happy space. That's your happy space. It is. It's like you see that. You see the rainbow coming down, and you see that little pot of gold shining ahead of you. That's your happy space, and you're trying to cut through the jungle to get to that pot of gold. And sometimes the jungle is just so thick, and there's too much quicksand in the way that you just got to pull up a log and just and say, well, I'll get to that next day. So that's kind of how I feel sometimes. It's that I wake up in the morning and I say, okay, here's my day, and it includes gaming, and then it doesn't include gaming. At least the last couple of weeks have been that way.
And that's, again, even for, knowing that certain things need to happen at a certain time, although it's technically gaming, but you're producing streams of that. There's just, no, that's all I'm doing for gaming today. There's, would I like to do this, that, or the other thing? No, I've spent a half hour in prep and an hour to do, and then trying to unwind and be, the husband and the pet owner and all that. Like, no, this is it. And again, that's not a complaint, but that's like, no, that's where the energy is gone. We've created what we're going to create today, and the rest of it because remember, there are no deadlines to finish a project.
Right. Yeah.
I think people get lost on, no, I need to do this. There are no deadlines to finish a project.
But you hate seeing them sit there. And you hate, like when I come down here to my work area and I see all my products laying around here, or at least my folders, and I know what's where, and I can just pull it out and play it. I want to get back to this, and I want to get back to that, because they're all so much fun. Everything I got going on is so much fun, because if it wasn't, I wouldn't do it. But
right.
every different game I play, every different product I have, whether it's a long one or a short one, they're just so much fun, and I'm not in a rush to get them done. But there is some sort of, and we talked about completing the project, there is some sort of satisfaction there when you finally finish it.
Of course there is.
And no matter how big or how small it is, even if it's a small little playoff thing, I like knocking them out and having my results and the whole bit. And I'm not getting to any of that right now because life's in the way. And, and so I guess we want to hear from all of you, when life gets in the way, whether it's work or whether it's family or whether it's some kind of an illness or whether it's just you're just busy, whatever it is, we want to know, how do you get around this? And what do you do when life gets in the way? How do you find time to game? How do you get back into the flow of things? Because I have like tons of different jobs I do, little jobs, hour here, 2 hours there, 8 hours here. It's kind of how my schedule is. So I managed to whittle down a schedule for all this stuff. So I can say, okay, I'm going to do this here and then that here and then this here and that here, and then I'm done. And now my gaming time begins, And then sometimes that gets thrown out of whack. And then it takes several weeks for me to get back onto my schedule sometimes when I do an extra shift, or if I get sick, or if I'm, like I say, running to the vet on a day that I'm supposed to be doing something else. Everything gets pushed back. My schedule gets messed up. So now instead of like A, B, C, D gaming, it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And the next day it's A, B, C, D. And then the next day it's A, B, then maybe gaming. So I never get back into the groove.
It takes time to recover too, because if you're flat out for a few days, like, oh, I got time to do that. Like, nope, I've got time to revisit the back of my eyelids.
Sometimes I just like to lay in bed and just listen to the radio, and especially football season, I really enjoy just the football banter and the talk and all that other stuff. And I've really been paying attention to that the Miami Dolphins quarterback there, Tua. There that got the concussion, because I just get over a concussion. So when I see that, I winced, and I've just been following that along and the whole bit. So that's kind of hit home with me. So I've been kind of listening to a lot of that.
Understandably so.
Yeah. So anyway, all right. So we want to know from you guys. Tell me about what happens with you when life gets in the way. How do you get around that, and how do you get out of your funk, and and what do you do? How do you handle it, and the whole bit? So should we get to 3 stars of the week?
Absolutely.
All right.
On this opening day of the NHL season.
All right.
Dun, 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 dun,
Let me open the envelope here. All right, our first star is Big Paulie.
Yay!
All right, Big Paulie. Thank you so much for supporting the show. And number 2 star, Gary Blackman.
Yay!
Thank you, Gary, so much for being a Patreon of ours. And then our number 1 star, again, in no particular order, number 1 star, one of our newer Patrons, Michael Martin.
Woohoo!
Thank you, sir. And thanks to everybody who keeps the lights on over here and the show going.
That's right.
And we had some nice comments come in on the email and the text line this week, and I'm not going to read them because some people don't want me to read them. But thank you so much for all the compliments. We are, we do what we do. We try to, keep smiles on people's faces and talk about what we enjoy and stuff that you can all relate to in the whole bit. And so that's what's kept Digital to Dice going for over 3. Is it over 3 years now?
Yeah, it's over 3. We're at year 4.
Holy cow. It's been a long time, and we keep on going thanks to all of you. So thank you so much. All right, so let's wrap up episode 153. Yeah, by the numbers, this has been Digital to Dice 153. As you can see, my voice is really dying right now. Ways to get a hold of us, digitaltodice.com is our website. Text line, 978-751-DICE. That's how you can get a hold of us on the text line. digitaltodice@yahoo.com is the email. And over on Facebook, facebook.com/groups/digital2dice. Ron, thanks for joining me today.
As always.
And I'm hoping to get back to normal, get back to playing again, get back to streaming again. It's been a busy couple of weeks.
Yes, it has been for you.
So anyway, all right, folks, we'll talk to everybody later.
Bye-bye.